Have you ever rolled out of bed in the morning, only to feel like your knees, your back, even your fingers had turned to stone overnight? You try to stand up, and there's that deep, aching stiffness, like your joints are quietly begging for mercy. You take a few steps, slow, careful, like walking across broken glass. And you think to yourself, maybe this is just how life is now. Maybe I'm just getting old. But let me ask you something, and be honest with me. What if that pain isn't just old age? What if it's your body waving a red flag, quietly, patiently, asking for help? Because I've been there. I'm 65 years old. And for the longest time, I thought my inflammation was just something I had to learn to live with. But then, something changed. Something simple. Something natural. Something that came out of my own kitchen cupboard. And I'll be real with you, it wasn't a miracle drug. It wasn't some expensive treatment. It was turmeric. Now I know, you've probably heard the word tossed around. Maybe you've even tried it once or twice and gave up. But I want you to hear me out, because what I'm about to share might just surprise you. Just 4 days after taking this turmeric recipe consistently, my swelling reduced. The tightness in my knees eased. I didn't feel like a rusted machine anymore. Could walk. I could breathe easier. I could sleep better. And no, this isn't just about me. It's about you, or your spouse, or your mother, or that uncle who groans every time he tries to get out of his favorite chair. Because in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what recipe worked for me, why most people get turmeric all wrong, what science says about its anti-inflammatory powers, and how you can use it safely, effectively, and affordably at home. Now listen, don't just skip ahead. This isn't just a list of ingredients. This is about your freedom, your mobility, your dignity. So let's make this real. Before we dive in, let me ask you, have you ever tried a natural remedy for pain or inflammation? Just type yes or no in the comments. I want to know what your journey has been like. I read every single one. And if you find even a spark of hope in this video, consider joining us here at Thriving Oldies, where we believe every age deserves strength, clarity, and joy. Alright, are you ready? Let's begin. I was 65, and my knees had started to betray me. The stairs in my own home, stairs I had climbed 1,000 times, suddenly felt like mountains. Each step felt like dragging 2 bags of concrete. That little bend to pick something up off the floor? It felt like a chore. A painful one. The mornings were the worst. I'd wake up and lie there, staring at the ceiling, gathering the courage to swing my legs over the side of the bed. Because I knew what was coming. The moment my feet hit the floor, I'd feel that deep, slow ache rise up from my knees, creep into my hips, and settle in my lower back like a cruel old friend. And by evening, stiffness. Tightness. That slow, dragging fatigue that made me feel like my bones were older than the rest of me. I tried creams. I tried warm baths. I even tried ignoring it. But pain doesn't get bored and leave you alone. It waits. And it wears you down. Now here's where things shifted. One afternoon, I was talking to an old friend, someone I trust. She's a retired nurse, gentle soul, the kind who listens more than she speaks. She said something I didn't expect. Have you ever tried turmeric? I laughed. You mean that yellow stuff you put in rice? But she was serious. She told me turmeric contains something called curcumin, a natural compound with powerful anti-inflammatory properties. The kind that doesn't just mask pain, it helps calm the storm from the inside. It sounded promising, but let's be honest, I was skeptical. I'd been disappointed before. Still, I figured, what do I have to lose? So I started sprinkling turmeric powder into my food, into soup, into tea, even into my morning eggs. But after 2 weeks, nothing. Not a single change. And I thought, well, that's another remedy that just doesn't work. But here's what I didn't know at the time, and this is where most people, including me, go wrong. Turmeric on its own doesn't absorb well in the body. You could eat spoonfuls of it every day and barely feel a difference. But because curcumin, the active ingredient, is not water-soluble, which means your body has a hard time absorbing it unless it's paired with two very specific things: black pepper and fat. Black pepper contains a natural compound called piperine. That one ingredient can boost curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. And pairing that with a healthy fat, like coconut oil or olive oil, helps it pass through the gut barrier and actually get into your bloodstream. I was shocked. All those months I'd been adding turmeric to my meals, hoping for results. I was basically just coloring my food yellow. So I made the change. I created a simple golden paste, just turmeric, a dash of black pepper, coconut oil, and a little water to bring it all together. I stirred it over low heat until it thickened. That's it. 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 at night. Now listen, the first day, nothing magical happened. Same pain, same stiffness. But on day 2, I noticed I was moving a little easier. By day 3, I was waking up with less heaviness in my knees. And by day 4, I didn't need to grip the railing when I climbed the stairs. I wasn't running marathons, no. But I was walking without wincing, standing up without bracing, smiling without faking it. It felt like I'd gotten a piece of my life back. Quiet piece, but powerful. But here's the thing, and it's something I wish someone had told me right at the start. Even with the right turmeric recipe, most people still do one critical thing wrong. And that is what we're going to talk about next. Because if you're not careful, you might be blocking the healing without even knowing it. I remember the moment clearly. I was at a small neighborhood gathering, nothing fancy. Just a few old friends catching up over soup and laughter. That's when I ran into Arjun, a retired teacher from India. A kind soul, always soft-spoken, always listening more than he talked. When the topic of joint pain came up, as it always does when you've got more than 3 folks over 60 in a room, I mentioned the turmeric I was taking and how it didn't seem to be doing much. He smiled. That calm, knowing kind of smile that says, "You're almost there, but not quite." Then he leaned in and said, "Let me show you what my grandmother used. We called it golden paste. Nothing fancy, but it worked. For her, for me, and maybe for you." Now, I'll admit, I was skeptical. I'd tried enough natural cures to know some were just old wives' tales in fancy packaging. But I was also tired. Tired of the aching. Tired of feeling like I was slowly losing parts of myself. So I listened. The recipe he gave me was so simple, it almost felt silly. Just 4 ingredients. Half a cup of turmeric powder, 1 cup of water, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 to 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. You add the turmeric and water to a small pan over low heat. Let it simmer gently, stirring now and then, until it thickens into a paste, like smooth peanut butter. Then stir in the black pepper and coconut oil. Let it cool. Store it in a glass jar in the fridge. No pills. No capsules. No mystery. Just a golden, earthy paste with a deep smell of warmth and comfort. He told me, 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 at night. Nothing more. Nothing less. And here's what really struck me. Most people, myself included, take turmeric as a powder, or in tea, or worse, in overpriced capsules. But they don't activate it. They skip the pepper. They skip the oil. And without those, you're absorbing less than 5% of the curcumin, the part that actually does the healing. It's like buying a beautiful lamp and never plugging it in. Looks nice, but it won't light up anything. So I started using the golden paste exactly the way he said. Not once in a while. Not just when the pain got bad. Every single morning and every evening. A small spoonful. Sometimes I mixed it into warm almond milk. Other times I just took it straight and followed with water. At first, it was the flavor that surprised me. It wasn't harsh. It had this warm, grounding taste. Earthy. A little peppery. And oddly comforting, like something ancient. Like something my own grandmother might have known. But that wasn't the most surprising part. What surprised me most was what started happening next. Not weeks later. Not months. But just a few days in. And I'll tell you exactly what changed right after this. By day 4, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No trumpets. No magical transformation. But I opened my eyes that morning, swung my legs out of bed, and for the first time in months, my knees didn't scream at me. No stiffness clawing at my joints. No pressure in my lower back begging for a hot compress. No hesitation. I stood up and I walked, not like a broken-down version of myself, but like a person who still had more years to live and more things to do. And I know it might sound small, but when your body's been whispering pain into every step for so long, even a small change can feel like a miracle. I walked to the kitchen that morning. No wince, no shuffle. I poured my tea, looked out the window, and smiled without realizing it. Because deep down, I felt different. I didn't need someone to tell me. My body told me. Now, I'm not here to say turmeric is some kind of magic cure. It's not. But the science behind it is real. Research shows that turmeric, specifically the curcumin inside it, can lower inflammation markers in the blood. Things like C-reactive protein, CRP, and TNF-alpha, which are often high in people dealing with arthritis, chronic pain, or metabolic issues. And when inflammation is diet-related, meaning it's connected to what we eat, what we drink, how we rest, natural remedies like turmeric can work surprisingly fast. I used to think these things took months. I thought natural meant slow. But sometimes, the body is just waiting for the right signal to heal. And when that signal comes, in the form of a consistent anti-inflammatory boost, it doesn't always take forever to feel the difference. But here's the key: you've got to pay attention. Don't rush it. Don't expect fireworks. Just listen to your body day by day. Are you sleeping a little better? Are you moving with less tension? Is your energy steadier? Sometimes healing is quiet, but it's there. And if you want to help your body get the most out of that turmeric, here's what I recommend, what I personally still do to this day. Drink plenty of water. Dehydration feeds inflammation. Do gentle stretching in the morning. Nothing fancy, just loosen up the joints. Take a short walk after your turmeric dose. It helps circulation and absorption. Real rest. The kind where you're not just lying down, but letting yourself breathe and be still. That's the rhythm I found. And it worked. I'd be lying if I said turmeric worked for everyone the same way. Because even with the right recipe, some people don't feel a thing. And that had me wondering why? So I started digging. And what I found next explains why turmeric might not be helping some people at all. Let's talk about that. Now, here's where things get a little tricky. Because as excited as I was about my own results, I shared the recipe with my sister not long after I started noticing the change. She's a few years older than me. Same stiff knees. Same morning aches. She was eager, hopeful, ready to try anything that didn't come with a laundry list of side effects. She followed the recipe to the letter. Golden paste. Twice a day. Warm water. Black pepper. Coconut oil. She gave it a full 2 weeks. And you know what she told me? Nothing. I don't feel anything. No change. No ease. No relief. Now that puzzled me. Same recipe. Same habits. But 2 completely different outcomes. So I started looking deeper. I asked questions. I read. I listened. And here's what I found. Sometimes, it's not about the turmeric. It's about the body receiving it. See, if your liver and digestive system, what we sometimes call the detox pathways, are sluggish or overwhelmed, even the most powerful natural remedy can't do its job. If your gut isn't absorbing nutrients properly, if your liver is bogged down with years of processed food, medications, or chronic stress, if you're not drinking enough water or sleeping well enough for your body to reset, then even a goldmine like turmeric might pass through you unused. Here's the mistake many people make, and it's such a human one. We think, if it's not working, maybe I should take more. But when your body's overwhelmed, more doesn't mean better. More can actually mean wasted. Turmeric isn't a hammer. It's more like a key. But if the lock's jammed, the key can't turn. So what can we do? We go back to basics. We support the foundation. Start simple. Add a few probiotic foods, like plain yogurt, fermented vegetables, or even a splash of apple cider vinegar in water. Drink enough clean water each day, little sips throughout, not just big gulps all at once. Prioritize real rest, deep sleep, not just lying in bed with your mind racing. And move gently, just enough to get the blood flowing and the organs awake. Turmeric isn't meant to do everything alone. It's a helper, but you've got to clear the path for it to help. Once you do that, once your system is open and ready, you may start noticing more than just pain relief. Because here's the truth. This isn't just about sore knees or stiff fingers. Turmeric may be helping in ways you can't even feel right away. Let me tell you what I mean by that, because this might be the most surprising part of all. About a month after I started taking the golden paste, long after the initial excitement had worn off and it had simply become part of my daily rhythm, something else started to change. It wasn't dramatic. No lightning bolt. No instant young moment. It was quieter than that. One morning I was brushing my teeth and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I paused. My skin, normally dry around the cheeks and dull from years of sun and wear, it looked softer. Not glowing like a magazine ad, but healthier, smoother, less irritated. Later that week, I was at a checkup with my doctor. We went through the usual numbers, and she looked at me, puzzled, then smiled. Your blood pressure's come down. What have you been doing differently? And that's when it hit me. I hadn't changed much. I was still eating the same meals, still walking the same half-mile loop in the mornings. But I had been taking turmeric every day. And I started wondering, what else might it be doing, quietly, gently, without me even realizing? Because you see, turmeric doesn't just work on inflammation. It works on something called oxidative stress, that internal wear and tear that happens over time, especially as we age. It helps support the liver, the body's natural filter, which often carries more burden than we realize. And more fascinating still, turmeric is being studied for its effects on the brain. Some researchers believe that curcumin helps increase levels of something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's a fancy name for a powerful protein that supports memory, mood, and even neuron repair. That might explain why I'd been feeling just a bit lighter emotionally, a little more balanced, more clear-headed, even on days when I didn't sleep great. Now, here's where many people miss out. They try turmeric for a few days, maybe a week. They don't feel a big change. So they shrug and say, "It's not for me," and move on. But healing isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, gradual, like a slow sunrise. You don't realize how much the world has changed until you look around and see the light. So here's my advice to you, straight from my heart. Be consistent. Give it time. Track your changes, not just pain, but sleep, digestion, energy, mood. Look for the subtle things. Are you waking up with more ease? Do your rings fit more comfortably? Are you a little less irritable at the end of the day? Even if you don't see something right away, it could be working deep inside, rebuilding, restoring, relieving stress you didn't know your body was carrying. And over time, those small, quiet shifts, they add up to something powerful. But, and this part is just as important, this journey isn't just about turmeric. It's about your mindset. And that is what we need to talk about next. It's hard, isn't it? Watching your own body begin to slow down. Feeling the energy that once came so easily now arrive in smaller doses or not at all. Realizing that even the simplest tasks, climbing a few stairs, reaching for a pan, getting out of a chair, can come with hesitation or discomfort or pain. And when you see it happen in someone you love, your spouse, your parent, a dear friend, it cuts even deeper. Because you remember who they used to be. You remember what they could do. And now, every groan, every sigh, every wince becomes a little echo of time passing. You feel like time is winning. But let me tell you something that changed the way I look at all of this. This journey, this experiment with turmeric, this exploration of natural care, it taught me something I didn't expect. Aging is not the enemy. Pain is not the whole story. And healing is not reserved for the young. No, it's not about fighting age like it's some monster creeping in the night. It's about supporting the body, lovingly, patiently, consistently. Like a gardener tending to a dry patch of soil, not with force, but with gentle watering and faith. You see, healing isn't just about removing pain. It's about giving your body a chance to be heard, to respond, to remember its own strength. So please don't wait. Don't wait until the doctor delivers bad news. Don't wait until your joints are screaming loud enough to drown out joy. Don't wait until you feel like you've tried everything. Start now. Start somewhere. Whether it's turmeric, or simply drinking more water, or choosing whole food over processed snacks, or taking a quiet walk before sunset. It all counts. It all adds up. And more than anything else, please remember this. You are not powerless. Not at 55. Not at 65. Not at 85. There is still strength in you. There is still healing left to be done. And every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward thriving. Not just surviving. Thriving. That's the mindset I live with now. And it's the one I offer to you. Because the truth is, every small change is a victory. And every victory is a reason to keep going. Let's take a moment to breathe together and look back on this journey we've just shared. To recap, I walked you through my own turmeric story, how at 65 I went from stiff knees and daily discomfort to waking up with ease in just 4 days. I showed you the exact golden paste recipe that worked, not from a pill bottle, but from a friend's kitchen, a recipe passed down with care. We explored the science behind curcumin, why black pepper and healthy fat matter more than most people realize. We talked about why turmeric doesn't work for everyone, and how something as simple as gut health or hydration might be the missing key. And finally, we uncovered the quiet benefits, the subtle, beautiful shifts you may not feel at first, but that change everything over time. If even one part of this touched you, if something clicked or stirred a memory or sparked curiosity, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried turmeric for inflammation or chronic pain? Maybe it worked for you. Maybe it didn't. Maybe you know someone, an aunt, a neighbor, a church friend, who's suffering silently and might need to hear this today. Share your story below. Even just a few words. I read every single comment. Because this channel, Thriving Oldies, isn't just about information. It's about community. It's about us. And if this video opened your eyes, or your heart, please consider giving it a like. It's a small gesture, but it tells YouTube that this message matters. That people like us want more content built on honesty, hope, and healing. And don't forget to subscribe to Thriving Oldies. We're building something special here, a place where aging is not a burden, but a blessing. Where wisdom is honored. Where pain is met with compassion. Where we walk this journey together, hand in hand. So wherever you are right now, whether you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, or beyond, whether you're caring for someone or trying to care for yourself, whether you feel strong today or feel like you're barely getting by, know this: you are not alone. You are still growing, and you are still worthy of health, joy, and peace. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep moving, keep learning, and above all, keep thriving. I'll see you in the next one.